We lost power for the second full time. So anything I record right now will not be posted until at least tomorrow. Just because we have no power, no heat, obviously no lights, and it's just not fun.
This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove I'm alright song.
I would kind of let everyone know as to why we are doing this and why it's so important for me and for my family and other people. So here we go. Alright, so I did have some requests to do like the not talking video. So I'm gonna kind of do a mix between the cards and the talking because it is way too much to write and I don't feel good. My neck is really bothering me and I have another doctor's because I'm getting sick again, but besides the point, we are going to get this video done. I was going to do it yesterday, but thanks to Mother Nature and the snow, we had another 9-hour power outage. So obviously I could not vlog because you couldn't see me, number one, because it was pitch black. It was freezing and we had no power. So we are making it happen today, but back to the subject. So this is a question that I've been getting a lot. Why do I need a service dog? I look fine. A lot of my chronic illnesses are what you would call invisible. Most people cannot see them on the outside. You can only see them if I am having pain or a flare-up or I dislocate randomly and I'm around someone. It's one of those things that you don't see from the outside. So I'm going to go into a few of my main medical conditions. They are in my beginning of my vlog, like when I first started, but I'm going to be putting this on the other site, so I figured I would just put it out there. I have something called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. So basically what that is it's a lack of collagen in my body, and collagen is the glue that holds your joints and muscles and bones together. So for me, with that lack of collagen, I tend to dislocate pretty often. It's typically an everyday occurrence for me. I don't really want to give a number because I don't feel that's necessary. I'm not here to be like, oh my gosh, it's like that. I just am telling you guys what medical I have. So I dislocate pretty often. I have braces, I have custom AFOs that I wear. There is a lot of things that are aiding and helping me to not have subluxations and dislocations as often, but of course it is still pretty common for me, and it can be very painful. And once I dislocate, it's something that is more permanent. My body doesn't heal properly with that. So with that kind of thing, it's very painful. Sometimes I can't get up. Sometimes I do have to go to the hospital to get it put back in place. So those kind of things are something where a service dog would help in going to alert someone or letting me know that something is going to happen, or if I'm getting too tired and fatigued. That's typically when my body tends to dislocate more, and I don't realize it as much because I tend to push myself. So that is Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. It's also known as EDS. If you want to hear more about that, feel free to Google. They also have a great website, and I am fine answering more questions if you leave them down below. So that is EDS. I also have what is called mitral valve prolapse. That is basically a hole in my heart, which does not allow blood to flow to everything as quickly as a normal person's would, and it also allows a small percentage of blood to kind of just go randomly into the body. So it takes my heart a lot more to pump blood, and I get much more out of breath and much more fatigued quicker than a normal person. Along with that, I do have some autoimmune deficiency issues, and something along the lines of POTS. I don't know if anyone has heard of POTS. It is post-serial tachycardia syndrome, and that is basically the difference in blood pressure, heart rate, that kind of stuff. And it comes with a lot of complications, and because I am not fully diagnosed with that, I'm not going to go into that one as much. So a big one for me right now is Chiari malformation and Klippel-Feil. Klippel-Feil is fused vertebrae in my neck bones. I have had this for a majority of my life. It has not caused many issues until recently. Why, we don't know. Sometimes it just happens. I also have Chiari malformation, which I was just diagnosed with in December of 2017. I am getting brain and neck surgery as well as a partial skull removal in April. And that does a lot of damage to your body. It causes neurological issues. It causes a lot of pain, to the fact where some days I cannot get out of bed to even get my pain meds. I cannot get out of bed to get water or a drink or the TV if I need something to distract me. Something like a thermometer or my blood pressure cuff, which I have to check pretty often. If I need the phone or I need a charger for my phone, because I have a lot of doctors that I call all the time. So that is a big one for me right now, and it's pretty important that when other people are not around and able to assist me, which they shouldn't be expected to, but because I don't have a home health nurse or anything like that quite yet, that goes into that. So if you would like to learn more about my other medical issues, there is a big list, but because they take up a lot of time and I have a few other questions to answer, I'm not going to give you all of my medical. They are in my first video on my vlog, Fighting for Freedom. You can search that up on YouTube, and I will also be linking my YouTube down below. So on to the next question. This is also a pretty big one. Okay, so why not train a new dog from a puppy or go from another type of foundation? This is a very iffy question. A lot of people have questions, comments, their own opinions on it. I'm not going to go into much of it, but I am going to say I am one of those people that is not very comfortable with training a puppy. It's a lot of work. Another issue is that I have some trust issues, and Nellie, my dog, she just turned 4, so she is a little bit on the older age to be trained for a service dog, but she is still puppy-like. She has no medical, and she's a pretty great dog. So we decided that based on my preferences and my emotional stability and a lot of my mental anxiety, depression, types of stuff like that, it was just better, and it was the better option for us to go with, to be training Nellie, as I already know her, the way she acts, and I know what she does, and she is potty trained. She is pretty well trained in basic obedience, and she is a very mellow dog. She also already knows a lot of the coping skills for anxiety type of things if I were to do emotional support as well. That is still up in the air. We're going to go from training and see what happens, but that is why we are opting to use Nellie and not a puppy. My next question is this. So, of course, a big one for this is price. With medical and everything else, I cannot afford much. And training is a very expensive thing. I was kind of blown away when I heard some of the prices that were being given to me. Of course, I understand where they're coming from. It is a hard thing. It takes a lot of time, a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of energy, and a lot of commitment. And it is pretty expensive. So that was one thing for me. Another thing is driving. And on days I don't feel that well, driving and pain they don't go together well. And then to put a dog in the car makes it a little bit more difficult. It's like a baby. They have to go to the bathroom. You have to make sure they have water and food and are calm and relaxed and comfortable. So some of the places I was looking into were pretty far, where it was like an hour and a half, and it's just not one of those things that I'm willing to do. That's almost 3 hours of driving, and for a couple hours of training, I would be exhausted before I even got home, and I just don't want to risk not being able to get home and the safety of myself and my dog and that kind of stuff. Another thing was if they had good reviews. If most of their clients and clientele were happy and it was working for them, because it is a huge chunk of money to be putting down, and if there's not getting good outcomes, I don't want to risk it. So that was another thing. Lastly, it was me feeling comfortable with the specific trainer, having some type of connection, a trust, because again, trust is a very big thing for me. So yeah, that was another thing that went into criteria for picking a trainer for Nellie and I. This is my last question I'm going to be answering because we're running out of time, and feel free to leave any more questions that you have below, and I will try to make another video and update you guys. Okay, so why am I trying to make this more known? Not only am we sorry, I can't talk today. Am I trying to fund for service dogs for Nellie and I, but I am also trying through my vlog as well to create a more comfortable environment to end stigmas around mental health and medical health and invisible illnesses, because in one of the other questions, a lot of people tend to say, you look fine, you're fine, why are you doing this, you'll be okay, and that's not the way it normally goes. So I really want to bring more awareness to these types of conditions and show what really goes into it. And we do struggle, and it is tough sometimes. So I really do want to make this more known, not only for myself, but before YouTube, I was a competitive figure skater, and I'm going to be honest, I did not have a lot of confidence in myself. I was winning a lot, but I just did not feel comfortable with myself and my body, and that is where my eating disorder came in. So before this, I had not talked about medical really at all to anyone. So to put this out there on a viral YouTube type of page and for everyone to know everything was a pretty big deal for me. So I can definitely relate when people say that they don't feel comfortable or they don't feel like people are going to understand. So for me, if I am able to help just one person by saying, hey, it's okay, there are people out there that understand, that's all I need. So we are going to end this video right about here. I just wanted to say, if you are still watching, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and Nellie's as well, for everyone that has donated, liked, shared, read, bought bracelets, because all of this stuff is really, really helping in funding to make this dream of mine and a better quality of life for me through your guys' help. So if you guys could just keep sharing and liking and doing what you are doing, we would really, really appreciate it. I cannot thank you guys enough. We are so blessed with how far this has already come. I did not expect this outcome, and how many people it has already reached. We are still trying to get this more known, even though it is pretty known already, again, for other people out there that do need help. So just remember that every person matters and every person can make a difference. It takes one person to put it out there. So thank you for following me in my fight to freedom, and we really appreciate you guys because you guys are helping me to get to that journey. So thanks again and have a great week.